Okay, first thing we're going to do is take your sketch and a white color pencil. We're going to have you pick out your favorite phrases or words that stuck out to you during the tour. So what I like to do is start with the lightest pressure and just kind of move up from there. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Conte. I like that the Conte is an in-between thickness of the pencils and chalk. And you can turn it and use it on its side to make thicker lines like this, or you can just use it kind of like a pencil. Well, the last part I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just take my finger, and we also have paper towels, and we're just going to go over some of the words or phrases. You can totally smudge them like this. I like to use my finger and like go over specific words. I like the idea because it kind of erases it, but at the same time, you can still see the word. You can use the paper towel if you'd like to.
So now that you have your background laid out, we're going to be working on a line drawing for the boxing gloves. You first do a simple drawing. You want to lay out your boxing glove, make it just very general. And I need to sharpen my pencil, so this will help sharpen. Twist the pencil, not the sharpener. And then when you're drawing, what helps me is using the pencil sideways. And you can rotate the pencil so you keep a nice point, always. Okay, now the next step is identifying the darkest spots of the glove and the lightest spots of the glove. So for that, you want to take like your cool colors, like your greens, your blues, your violets, for the darkest. And for the lightest, you take like your warm colors, your yellows, your oranges, your peaches. So I'll do darkest first. That's how I work. I work dark first. So I find like the darkest parts. And just to show you, here's a already made copy. You can see the darkest darks are where the blue is, that really dark blue, navy blue. And then the lightest lights are like where I put my yellow. These are the highlights. And then I'll go back and put some more white where I see like the brightest whites. So we're working on the colored pencil technique on the gloves, making it from 2-dimensional into a 3-dimensional glove. The highlights, the really bright highlights, the whites, will make that glove really stand out. But in order to do that, you have to add some yellows into that, some really warm colors next to it. That'll transition from the white into the red. So right in here, in this part of the glove, it looks very 3-dimensional. Whereas maybe this part over here where I'm adding yellow, it's not as 3-dimensional. So we're moving on to the burnishing stage. So now that you have your warm and cool colors added, so you have your whites and your yellows, which are my warm colors as highlights, and your blues and the black of the paper, which is my dark value. We're going to start adding in the final color and burnishing to make it look a lot smoother and hopefully a 3-dimensional appearance. So you take your final color, which red is mine. You can use any color for that, but I use red because boxing gloves are usually red. You just go over all the colors except for some of the highlights. You want these highlights to show, and some of the dark values. You want that to show some value. All right, so got your completed drawing of your gloves, and all I'm doing is just cutting it out. And if there's some lines on it that you don't want, like some of the sketch lines, I'm cutting them right off. And a trick that helps me cut is not to have the scissors go all the way to the tip as you release, but cut from the middle. So the scissors are almost always open.
Alright, so our last step is to take our background that we created, and this is my background, but we're going to figure out where we want our boxing gloves to go. So here are my gloves. We want to create a dynamic composition with our piece as a whole. So what I don't want you to do is just take your gloves and put them smack dab in the middle. It definitely takes away from my words, takes away from my sketches, and it really kind of throws off the layering. So what I want you guys to just go ahead and try them in different spots throughout your composition, and whatever you decide you like I like mine over here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep those there. So we're gonna use glue and glue these down. Now I know you guys all know how to glue, but we're gonna go back to 2nd grade, and I'm gonna remind you to do just a dot, not a lot. And we're gonna go all the way around the edges of the gloves. If we just do the edges, it makes it a lot easier. It makes it flatter, and it just looks better, honestly, overall. And then I'm gonna put it down right here. I'm gonna do the same for my other glove. Now, when we are finished with this, we're gonna go ahead and glue these down. And if you notice, if I were to touch this, it comes up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a spray fixative, which you guys might have used before or heard of, but we'll just spray all over. And we'll have to take it outside or under the hood, and it will just kind of set everything in place, and once you touch it, it won't come up. So it'll be easier to take home, it won't get on your clothes, and then you'll have a beautiful finished piece.